Upstairs, Downstairs, Part 1, production number 1513, recorded the 24th of November, 72, take 1.
Just coming.
Oh, Ruby, look at them sandwiches. Doorsteps.
Bread's new, Mrs. Bridges. It's as thin as I could cut it.
You didn't put fish paste on both sides?
Oh, no.
Fetch me the cake plate. Joan, handles all the same way. The teacups. Oh. Clean, I hope. Here. Somebody's been at my cake.
It's not me.
It was bigger than that yesterday. 5 slices I cut. Somebody's been in my larder. I'll soon find out who's had it. There's 6 eggs in that cake.
Oh, shove that noon in here.
Well, one of you girls must
Mrs. Bridges, I haven't been anywhere near.
Oh, lovely.
Hungry, eh, Sarah?
Bleeding ravenous.
You've been at my cake, haven't you?
No, I haven't.
You have. Well?
Oh, now you mention it, last night I was feeling a bit peckish.
I'll have a lock put on that larder door. You see if I don't.
Oh, I'm tired.
Well, look at you getting fat as a pudding.
Well, it's one way of getting a new uniform, ain't it, Mrs. Bridges? If I cry this one. Better get the baby's tea ready.
I'll take the tray up for you, Sarah.
Ah, would you, Joan? You are a love.
No, you don't, Joan. It's not your job to carry nursery trays up and down. Not in this house.
She'll only go and drop it again like
Ruby.
What did you say?
It's just that I dropped the nursery tray this morning, that's all, Mrs. Bridges. I was feeling a bit giddy. Nothing broke, it was just a bit of oatmeal on the liner and I wiped it up straight away.
Giddy, were you? How do you two? Out. Put on the kettle for tea, Ruby. Joan, count how many spoons she puts in the pot. She runs out of fingers after 5. And shut the door behind you. Now then, Sarah.
I'm just going to get the baby's tea, Mrs.
Nanny
Bridges.
hasn't run yet, has she?
No, Mrs. Bridges. What you staring at me for?
Do you know what I think, Sarah? I think you're eating for 2. Am I right?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, yes, you do, my girl. I've noticed I'm not blind. You've been putting on weight, haven't you? Eating in between meals, dropping trays. Feeling a bit dicky in the mornings, I shouldn't be surprised. Mr. Hodson, you're just in time.
In time for what, Mrs. Bridges? Surely servants' hall tea isn't for another 5 minutes yet.
Mrs. Bridges, please don't.
In time for what, Mrs. Bridges?
Just in time to hear our Sarah's news. She's eating for 2 again, aren't you?
Is this true, Sarah?
Just got a rotten bit of cake.
Sarah, I demand a simple answer. Are you or are you not expecting?
What if I am?
Yeah, what does that tell you?
I am shocked, Sarah, shocked to my very fibre.
It wasn't my fault.
The cry of the hussy, Mr. Hodson. It's never her fault. You're talking to me and Mr. Hodson, my girl. We know you don't get babies for smelling the flowers.
It's not fair, you know. It's always me what's put upon ever since I first come to this
Sarah.
house. Oh, go on, sack me. I don't care. Wish I could die. You sack me without a character.
Character? It's a bit too late to talk about character.
Mrs. Bridges.
It's the truth. Now, come along. Who is it?
Well?
I'm not saying.
Don't know which of many, eh?
Yes.
Mrs. Bridges, please.
Well, the little trump.
Last time you wasn't horrible. You was understanding last time.
Last time was bad luck. This time it looks like it's becoming a bad habit.
Now, that's enough, Mrs. Bridges. Sarah, in view of the generous way the family has treated you
Generous?
over the business with Captain James.
Well, they kept you on. They looked after you.
They had to. It was his fault. They're sons. Partly, wasn't it?
Well, it wasn't this time, was it?
You can't expect any help from upstairs this time, Sarah. It'll have to be reported. Oh, now stop that, Sarah. You'll make yourself ill. Stop it. Oh, please. There now. That's better. Now then, who is the father? What manner of person?
Pardon?
Who done it?
What manner of person? He was... Well, it wasn't my fault, Mr. Hodson. I just went out on Nanny's afternoon off.
And left the baby?
Well, only for a few minutes. Ruby kept an eye on her. I just went round the corner to get some gripe water.
In my day, we made our own.
Well, the chemist didn't have none. Pearson's. So I went up Knightsbridge and he didn't have none neither.
Oh. Must have been an outbreak of wind all over Belgravia.
Go on, McGill.
Well, I'd gone so far it seemed daft to go home empty-handed, so I walked along Piccadilly.
Oh, yes.
And I just got as far as the Burlington Arcade when it started to rain. Pouring stair rods it was, belting down buckets.
Go on.
Well, there was this man in there.
In the arcade?
Yeah. He was sheltering and all.
What sort of a man?
What sort of a man? He was a toff. He was a real gent. He had a silk hat on and a silk brolly. Not young and not old neither. Sort of man you could really trust. Very tall and distinguished looking. He had little bits of grey hair round his temples and little bits of baby lamb all round his collar.
If this distinguished-looking man possessed a hat and an umbrella, why was he sheltering from the rain?
Quite.
He was waiting for Hackney. No, I'll tell a lie. He was waiting for his carriage. His own carriage. Yeah, he was waiting for his own carriage.
And he spoke to you?
Yes, they offered me a ride back here. But he stopped on the way.
Where did he stop?
Outside his rooms. Now, I don't know what street it was, Mr. Hudson. It could have been Ebury Street, but then again it could have been Wilton Place.
And it could have been High Street, China.
Well, I went in with him. There didn't seem no harm, and it was pouring down rain, and I was ever so wet through.
Go on.
Well, he offered me some brandy, just to warm me up, being as how I was soaked to the skin.
And then?
Well, I'm not used to it, Mr. Hudson. Brandy, you see. Not me being a poor servant girl. Before I knew where I was back here. It had left off raining by then. And he must have took advantage of me. Cruel advantage of a poor servant girl while she was just...
Drunk.
Oh, no, only a little bit tiddly, Mrs. Bridges. And he was ever so distinguished looking.
You know, our Sarah reminds me of the Salvation Army banner. Thousands have been this way before. There is plenty of room for thousands more.
All right, Mrs. Bridges.
Don't be hard on me, Mrs. Bridges. You're a woman too. Have pity on me.
It isn't for me to have pity, my girl. It's for them upstairs. Lady Marjorie will have to be told directly she gets back from Burrit's.
We will not wait for her ladyship's return, Mrs. Bridges. I will have to tell the master at once.
Servants in child is for women to talk about, Mr. Hudson.
And discipline is for men to talk about, Mrs. Bridges. Your tea is ready in the morning, sir.
Thank you, Hodson.
If I might have a word with you, sir.
I have a lot of work to do.
It is rather important, sir.
I have to change the entire text of a speech for Thursday's debate. I can't the matter wait.
It would be improper of me not to inform you at once, sir.
Has the roof fallen in?
No, sir.
Is anybody dead?
No, sir. Well, I regret to report, sir, that the nursery maid is pregnant.
What did you say?
Sarah is expecting a child, sir. Again.
Oh, God, no.
I regret so, sir.
Are you sure?
She has confessed to it, sir.
And has she confessed who is responsible?
She's somewhat unspecific on that point, sir. Chance encounter, I understand, with a man who offered her shelter from the rain.
How far advanced is she?
I would estimate some 5 to 6 months, sir.
Well, you were quite right to tell me, Hodson, but it really is a matter for her ladyship.
I am confident that her ladyship will be extremely upset, sir.
Upset? I should think so. Time Sarah learned a lesson and settled down.
On this occasion, I've no doubt her ladyship will enforce her usual rules, sir.
Oh, yes. Of course, we must never forget that Sarah is something of a special case.
Quite, sir.
Well, her ladyship will be back on Thursday. A couple of days won't do any harm.
Very good, sir. I hope you don't misunderstand me, sir. I have nothing personal against the girl.
Of course not, Hodson.
It is simply a matter of discipline. This household is like a ship in His Majesty's Navy, sir. One small indiscipline can lead to mutiny. It must be nipped in the bud, sir. And on this occasion, I
Thank
feel...
you, Hodson.
Very good, sir.
I made you a fresh pot special, Thomas.
Well, that's very good of you, Mrs. Bridges.
Kept you out late again, did he?
Aye, we had to pick up some papers from the Admiralty on the way home from Westminster.
Oh, yes.
He rattling down the Mall, motor going well, and somebody tried to overtake us.
Oh.
A little Austin with all black smoke pouring out the back. Can you imagine an Austin trying to overtake a Rolls Royce in the Mall?
Oh, I can't.
Well, the master was busy reading in the back, see, so I put my foot down, as they say. Well, the old Rolls Royce flew, didn't it? 42 miles an hour.
Oh, Thomas.
Oh, now they're very tasty sandwiches, Ruby.
You mustn't say things like that to her. Turn her head, if she's got one.
Oh, she's got one all right, Mrs. B, eh? Oh, Ruby's got brains all right, haven't you, love?
You mustn't say things like that, Mr. Watkins.
Now go on, Ruby. Get on with that washing up in the scullery. Brains? That Ruby? I wish she had. Still, I dare say she's got more in that thick head of hers than some people I could mention.
Oh. Who's that then, Mrs. Bridges?
That's Sarah.
Sarah? What's she been up to, eh?
Well, may you ask.
Oh.
Still, it's not anything that's quite nice to talk about. Well, not to a man while he's having his tea.
Oh, I see.
Leastways, I don't think it is.
No.
It's her urges, you see. She can't control her urges.
Oh, that's better. Bit of meat for dinner. It's been giving me jippers, that.
Well, I mean, what's going to happen when Lady Marjorie comes back next Thursday? What's going to happen then? There'll be such an explosion, you'll hear it all the way from Victoria Station.
Explosion here?
Yes, when Lady Marjorie finds out. About Sarah.
Oh, something wrong with Sarah, is it?
Wrong? Nothing wrong if you're married. Nothing wrong if you've got a husband.
Oh, Sarah's not married, is she?
That's just the trouble. A little stranger.
Sarah's a little stranger.
No, she's going to have a little stranger. There now. I've gone and let it slip.
Oh.
You are a woman. Getting it out of me like that.
Aye, well, don't worry, Mrs. Bridges. Now, I wouldn't breathe a word to a living soul. Not if it's a secret.
Well, it is.
Poor old sir. Nice rotten luck, isn't it?
Well, she's brought it on herself. This time she'll have to go.
This time?
Well, you know there was that other time. You remember the...
Oh, yes, we're not allowed to mention.
Right. This time, it happened outside the walls of this house. Ah, she's cooked her goose proper this time.
Looks like it. Mrs. Bridges.
Yes, Tom.
Wouldn't be a drop more tea in the pot, would there?
Yes? Oh. Hudson, sir, about this wretched girl.
Sarah, sir.
Yes, who else knows about her condition? Among the servants, I mean.
Only Mrs. Bridges and myself, sir.
Not Rose? They were close friends, weren't they?
Rose, if you recall, sir, went to see her aunt in the cottage at Southwold for a few days.
Oh, of course.
She returns to us on Friday, sir.
I see. So, nobody need know until her ladyship returns.
No, sir. I will certainly speak to Sarah, sir. Edward, as you know, is away with his bad leg. And I'll see to it that Joan and Ruby are kept in ignorance of the situation, sir. And Watkins, of course.
Very well, Hudson. Thank you. Oh.
Thank you, sir.
£500. Is £500? It's a lot of money for a man like you, Tom Watkins. You'll never earn that much out of your wages. Not under 10 years, you won't.
Tom, are you alone?
I was.
I thought I heard voices.
Ah, just reading out loud to myself. My Bible.
Oh, your Bible. What chapter and what verse, eh?
The parable of the servant who dreamed of leaving his wealthy master and going out into the world to seek his own fortune. And it came to pass there was a small motor car business for sale in Watford Road, Kilburn.
They found out, Tom.
Who's found out?
Mrs. Bridges and Mr. Hodson. And he'll have told her master, so her ladyship will know the minute she gets back.
So?
Well, I'll be thrown out on the streets. But I made up a story. I told him it was this gent as give me a ride in the rain and took me back to his apartments and plied me with drink and I lost my head. That's what I said happened.
When you tell him a fancy story like that?
To save you from the sack, what do you think?
I don't need saving from the sack.
Well, you would if they knew it was you.
Now, why didn't you tell him the truth, eh?
Well, then where would we be? This way, at least you're clean. One of us has to be. So I lied for you. Well, what you gonna do for me, Tom, eh?
Nothing.
Nothing? Well, you've got to do something, Tom. You marry me and make it all respectable. I'm not going through all that. Not again. Tom, you can't leave me to have me baby on my own. Tom, please.
Look, I'm busy.
Busy? Look, you get busy with me, Thomas Watkins. You do something.
Will you stop
You help
screaming,
me.
will you?
Oh, God, Tom, look, you got to take care of me now.
Well, clear off, will you?
I'll tell him. I'll tell him it was you.
Sarah! Mr. Watkins!
Yeah, what do you want?
Mr. Watkins, sorry to intrude, but I was just looking for Sarah. Oh, there you are. You wanted over at the house.
Who wants me?
Well, Nanny wants you. It's time for the baby's bath.
Sod Nanny. And sod the baby.
Right you are. I'll tell him.
Oh, come.
Shall I tell Nanny you're on your way then?
Yeah. Don't leave me, Tom. You're all I've got now. Honest.
This overseas telegraph has just come, sir.
From Biarritz?
I couldn't say, sir.
From her ladyship, I expect, to say which boat she's arriving in. No, it's not. It's from India, by Jove.
Sir?
From Captain James. Sailing home April. Postings over, sir.
Oh, her ladyship will be pleased, sir.
Oh, she will. Well, that's good news anyway. Thank you, Hodson.
Sir. Oh, and
Yes.
Watkins is here, sir. He would like a word with you before you leave. Will I ask him to come in?
Yes.
Mr. Watkins. Watkins, sir.
Yes, Watkins. Good morning.
Good morning to you, sir.
What is it?
Well, it's about Sarah, the nursery maid, sir.
And what about her?
Well, about her unfortunate condition, sir.
Who told you about that?
Mrs. Bridges.
Well, that was very wrong of her.
Yes, sir.
It's not supposed to be common knowledge.
No, sir.
Anyway, what's it got to do with you?
Well, it's just that I'd have to have your permission, you see.
Yeah?
Well, I don't know that I'd have to, but I wouldn't feel happy without it, sir. You know, respecting you as I do. Though Sarah would have to have it, sir.
Sarah?
Your permission, yes. Yes, I'm quite attached to her in a way, sir.
To Sarah?
Yes, she's a lively girl, sir. I'm not, you see, lively. I like things quiet.
What is it you're trying to tell me, Watkins?
Well, I was wondering how it would be if I offered to marry her, sir. You know, help her out, make her respectable.
Marry her? You?
Well, it's time I was married, sir, and I don't get to meet many girls. And she's got some good qualities, sir.
Marriage is a serious step, Watkins.
Oh, I know, sir. I mean, especially for me being chapel. It's for life when you're chapel.
It should be for life, whatever you are.
Oh, yes, sir.
And to take on another man's child. Of course, it's not unusual for chauffeurs to be married.
Well, that's what I thought, sir. And Sarah wouldn't have to leave in disgrace.
Quite.
Penniless. Destitute, you might say.
Oh, I don't think her ladyship would turn her onto the streets penniless.
Oh, on account of a recent misfortune in this household, sir.
That matter is over and forgotten, Watkins.
Oh, you can rely on my absolute discretion, sir. I mean, as always.
Oh, yes, I'm sure I can. Well, that being so, and if you seriously mean to offer marriage to Sarah, and as it were, take over responsibility for her from us, that is, keep her happy and cared for.
Out of mischief, sir.
Yes, Watkins.
Oh, yes. Yes, I would, sir.
Well, in that case, I don't think you would find us ungrateful. It will solve happily what has become of late a very difficult family problem.
Well, that thought was uppermost in my mind, sir.
You really are the most exceptional man, Watkins.
Thank you very much, sir. Of course, I'll do my best to keep Sarah happy, sir. As far as my wages will allow.
Oh, I don't think we need worry about that. I'll speak to her ladyship when she returns, and I'm sure she'll agree to having the quarters over the garage done up.
Oh, you shouldn't go to that much expense, sir.
Oh, but we shall, and a suitable wedding present for the two of you.
Well, that's very generous of you, sir. Would it be forward of me to inquire as to what form that wedding present might take, sir?
Oh, I don't know, something for the living quarters, perhaps some furniture.
Oh, I see, sir.
Or a sum of money, I should imagine, wouldn't you?
Yes, I would imagine a sum of money, sir.
And a fairly handsome sum, Watkins, I'm sure. As I say, you'd be solving a very difficult family problem.
Quite, sir.
Well, I'm sure they'd all be pleased to hear your news downstairs. Unless you've told them already, have you?
Oh, no, sir, I wouldn't mention it to anybody else. Not unless I had your permission first, sir.
Good man. Now, you go and tell them. And I'll discuss the financial aspects of it with her ladyship when she returns.
Well, thank you very much, sir.
I can make this place look nice for us, you know. I'll make cushions and ever such pretty curtains for our quarters up top. Or Rose can when she gets back from holidays. I expect they'll give us some of the old furniture they'll want in the attic. Here. I hope the baby don't get upset by the smell of that old car.
Well, look, I wouldn't worry about that because we might not be here all that long.
What do you mean?
And it came to pass there was a motor car business for sale in Kilburn.
For only £500. Yeah, you and your motor car business. Mrs. Thomas Watkins, eh?
I'll have to go, Hodson. Please give Lady Marjorie a message for me. Tell her she's not too tired after a journey and would like to come to the Strangers' Gallery to hear me speak. I should be delighted.
Yes, sir.
Oh, yes, and one more thing. Not a word to Lady Marjorie about Sarah and Watkins. I shall break the good news to her myself when I return later this evening after the debate.
Very good, sir.
There. That'll be her ladyship at last.
Over an hour late. These foreign timetables again.
I was beginning to worry.
What for, Mrs. Bridges?
Well, her ladyship's been on a boat, hasn't she? On the sea. Crossing the English Channel from France, and boats can sink and people get drowned, Ruby.
Oh, not in fog. They go slow in fog.
Oh,
You can tell Watkins to be ready at 4 in case I do decide to go to the house.
Yes, my lady. And luncheon will be served just as soon as you wish.
Thank you. Any other news, Hudson? Everything all right downstairs?
Yes, indeed, my lady. Oh, there's been an overseas telegraph from Captain James, my lady. The master informs me that the captain will be sailing for home in April.
Oh, but that's wonderful news.
Yes, indeed, my lady.
Thank you, Hudson.
My lady.
Oh, God.
My lady? I thought you said something. I beg your pardon, my lady.
Yes, I did, Hudson.
My lady?
Where's Sarah?
Sarah, my lady. If she's not upstairs in the nursery, she'll be down in the servants' hall fetching the nursery tray.
I'd better see her at once.
Very good, my lady. Sarah, her ladyship wants to see you in the morning room.
What, me?
Yes, you.
Oh, I can't stop now, Mr. Hudson. I've got to take this upstairs and then he'll create if it's cold.
Give me the tray. Go into her ladyship immediately.
What?
Here. Just this once.
Well.
Go on in, my girl. Do as I say.
You wanted to see me, milady?
Yes, I did, Sarah. Come in, will you? How's Lucy?
Oh, she's fine, thank you, milady. She's cut another tooth, and Nanny says she's putting on weight.
Oh, that's good. I'll go up and see Nanny later on.
Yes, milady.
Sarah, I've had some news today which I'm afraid is going to affect your future.
Yes, I know, milady.
You do? About my son's return?
Oh, no, not that. I didn't know about that.
Captain James will be sailing from India in April. It's only a few weeks away, isn't it?
Yes, milady.
Sarah, I want you to try very hard not to be upset about this. But I'm sure you'll understand that it would be unthinkable with Captain James coming home for you to be here in this house in any capacity. Oh. I'm sure you wouldn't want to be in any case. I mean, the situation would be intolerable for both you and my son.
You needn't worry, milady. You see, it's all going to be all right. I expect you haven't heard yet.
Heard what?
The good news. About me and Mr. Watkins.
You and?
We're getting married, me and Mr. Watkins. It's all arranged. The master knows all about it, and he's ever so pleased. And he's told Mr. Watkins that he was going to speak to you about having our place done up over the garage, so I'll be out of the way over there.
You're telling me that Watkins has asked you to marry?
Yes, that's right, milady. You see, I'm having this baby.
You're having this...
Well, it was all a mistake, milady. There was this gentleman who's picked me up in the rain.
I don't want to hear any details.
No, milady.
Sarah, how could you do this to us?
But, my lady, the master knows all about it. And Mr. Hodson and all of them. And they all feel ever so sorry for me. At least they was till Mr. Watkins come forward and offered to make it all respectable by marrying me. So it's going to be all right, isn't it, my
No,
lady?
Sarah, it's not going to be all right. Not this time.
My lady, Mr. Watkins...
Watkins is the chauffeur here, Sarah. And I'm certainly not going to see him ruin his career for some foolish act of misplaced chivalry. Send Watkins to me at once.
Very good, my lady.
And you better tell Nanny that Sarah will be leaving at the end of the week.
But my lady, please...
Sarah, downstairs.
Look, my lady...
And stay there until I come.
Hudson, why was I not told about this? Has everyone gone mad since I've been away? Sarah, enceinte, Watkins offering to marry her?
The master is acquainted with the facts of the situation, my lady. I understand he's given his consent to Watkins, and he intended to inform your ladyship about it tonight.
Then it's just as well I've discovered the facts for myself in time. Fetch Watkins.
Yes, my lady.
I understand you'll be requiring me to drive you to the House of Commons this afternoon, my lady.
Oh, I'm not sure about that yet, Watkins. Come in, will you? Tell me, Watkins, are you happy in your position here?
Oh, yes, my lady.
And we're very content with you. Your training with us has turned you into a first-class chauffeur.
Thank you, my lady.
So now we depend on you, which is as it should be.
Thank you very much, my lady.
And you will understand, Watkins, that we cannot allow you to throw yourself away on a servant girl who's landed herself in trouble.
I beg your pardon, my lady, but I'm not quite sure I understand.
Well, I don't allow my younger servants to marry. Few households do. Why, at Southwold, even the older servants are discouraged. You have no obligation to that girl, Watkins. No responsibility whatever.
No, my lady.
No doubt she's been ill-used. I blame the man, whoever he is, as much as the girl.
Yes. Yes, well, if I could find out the swine's name, my lady.
Indeed. Of course, we've tried to help Sarah in the past, as you know, and it's chivalrous of you to make the offer, but also exceedingly foolish. Your place is here, while hers is not. Especially not after April.
April? When the captain returns from India, my lady?
Yes.
On the other hand, with the quarters done up nice and comfy and Sarah busy with the baby, there'd be no call for the captain or Sarah to meet or even see each other. I'd make sure she wouldn't go wandering over the house, my lady.
I'm afraid it won't do, Watkins.
The master was good enough to mention the possibility of a generous wedding present if I were to... Now, how did he put it? To take the responsibility for Sarah from the shoulders of the Bellamy household. Doing you a favor, I'd be, so the master said. So I would respectfully suggest that you might like to reconsider your decision, my lady. I mean, after all, as a man of honor and strict brought up, I couldn't go against my word. I mean, you wouldn't want me to do that, would you, my lady? Not go back on my word.
Are you absolutely determined to marry her?
Yes, I am, my lady.
I see. That's a great pity. I'd hoped you'd have the sense to put your career first. I see now it means nothing to you, so that's that. I can't force you to stay here against your will.
No, my lady.
I'll see that you both have a month's wages before you leave. It won't be much to marry on. Of course, whether or not you decide to marry Sarah eventually is of no concern of mine. You'll be free to do as you wish. That'll be all, Watkins.
There you are, my dear, safe and sound. I hope the sea was calm. Oh, you do look well.
Richard, what's all this about Watkins and Sarah?
Oh, you've heard? My dear, I was going to tell you all about it this evening.
It's outrageous.
Now, keep calm, Marjorie. The matter's been solved.
Indeed it has not.
Now,
Richard,
listen.
I sometimes wonder if you live in the real world.
Listen to me, my dear. I know how you feel. But you must remember that Sarah's been the source of endless trouble and embarrassment to us. If Watkins wants to make her respectable and help us settle down...
Not in this house. And as he refuses to give her up, they're both under notice.
What? Marjorie, I wish you wouldn't go against me. It makes a man look such a damn fool when he says one thing and his wife says another.
Your wife had to say. You were wrong.
To you, I am invariably. Why am I wrong?
Because it's impossible to contemplate those two married and living under this roof.
I don't agree with you.
Apart from her condition, she can't be here when James gets back from India.
There's no reason why James and Sarah should ever come face to face. Besides, I've given them my blessing.
Because you didn't stop to consider the consequences. Anyway, they're going. We'll have to find a new chauffeur and a new nursery.
Now, listen.
And in future, Richard, I beg you, don't interfere with matters concerning the servants.
Excuse me, my lady. Watkins is here, and he wishes to have a word with you and the master.
But if he's simply going to argue for Sarah to stay on as his wife, there's no point in further discussion.
We don't know what he wants to say. Send him in, Hodson.
Very good, sir.
Come in, Watkins. Close the door. What is it you want to say?
I just wanted to apologize if I seemed a little disrespectful this afternoon, milady. I mean, it's a terrible thing for a man to be out of a job all of a sudden.
Yes, Watkins, but you know, you did bring this on yourself. I mean, there's no need for you to go if you'd only give up this marriage.
No, I can't do that, milady. I just wanted to tell you that we've had a bit of luck, Sarah and me. See, I've been making some inquiries in the Mews, and it seems that some people over in Chester Square, titled people they are, have an old chauffeur giving up and they need somebody who can handle a big limousine. There's some nice quarters over the garage and no objection to a married man, milady. So I just wanted to say thank you for all the knowledge we've acquired in your employ. It should stand us in good stead outside this household. You see, Sarah and I have learned quite a lot since we've been here, and we're very grateful. So there's really no need to worry about us. Thank you, my lady. Thank you, sir.
That was a threat. That was a direct threat.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Richard, I sometimes think you shut your eyes to things on purpose. Sarah and Watkins are going to work round the corner in Chester Square with people who probably know us. And they're going to see to it that our private family affairs are made public knowledge in every servants' hall and consequently every drawing room in Belgravia.
Oh, nonsense, Marjorie. You're imagining it.
I am not. It was a direct threat.
How can you stop them?
I can refuse them references.
If he's as malicious as you now say he is, he'll tell them why you won't give him a character, and that'll make a worse scandal.
Well, then you must think of something else. Do something, Richard!
Me? I thought you said all matters involving the servants were your affair.
Well, you got us into this mess. You can get us out of it.
Oh, damn servants. Why in God's name do we have to put up with them?
Oh, she's as good as gold. Only our powers is half the...
I wanted a word with Watkins.
He isn't here, so he's gone out. It shouldn't be very long.
That's Lucy.
Yes, sir.
What's she doing here?
Well, sir.
Well, she shouldn't be over here. Does Nanny know?
No, sir. You see, sir, the pram had a squeak in it, and I brought it in here for Mr. Watkins to oil it, and he wasn't here. So I thought I'd wait, you know, for a few minutes. It was ever so cold outside. I didn't like to leave the baby out there, and I brought her in here to keep her warm.
I hardly ever see her.
She's cut another tooth, sir.
No. She's much too young.
If you give her your finger, sir, she might hold on to it. There you are.
So she does.
Does sometimes.
Yes. How pretty she is.
Well, your daughter's pretty, sir.
Won't you be sorry to leave her?
Unless her ladyship changes her mind.
I'm afraid she won't do that, Sarah.
Well, then I'll be sorry. But I'll have one of my own soon.
You sure you're not acting in haste, this idea of marrying Watkins?
No, sir, you see, I love him. Nobody thinks of that.
Does he love you?
Well, you never know him then, do you? But I have hopes.
Good evening, sir. For our engagement, sir, and our departure.
Quite.
Better get little Lucy back to Nanny.
Doesn't she need some help?
No, it's all right, sir. She can look after herself.
A good marriage is essential to any man, Watkins. Whatever else I may have said to you, whatever else I may say, I believe that to be a fundamental truth.
I think it'll be a fair marriage, sir.
With another man's child?
Well, as for that, perhaps I'll be as good a father as the real one. And it's not the baby's fault, is it?
And what's this?
That's an advertisement, sir.
Curious decoration?
That's my dream. Workshop walls are the places for dreams. Postcard beauties. Seaside views for them as holidays. That's mine, sir.
Profitable garage business. Rooms over £500.
Aye, it's just a dream, sir.
Would you rather be your own master than continue in private service?
Would you blame me, sir?
A man in his own way of business has to take knocks. Has to eat a lot of humble pie. Even members of Parliament.
Excuse me for saying so, sir, but servants eat a bit of humble pie now and again.
Could I have a glass of that beer?
Well, it's my pleasure, sir.
Long time since I drank beer.
You, sir?
I used to drink beer as a young man.
Well, if you like it, you should drink it, sir. I mean, you're the master.
Oh, I don't. Hodson wouldn't approve. Thank you. Can I sit down?
Oh, sorry, yes, sir.
Watkins, I am willing to give you the capital sum you need for this. Wouldn't you prefer to buy your own little motor car business and run it rather than go as chauffeur for somebody else?
Oh, naturally, sir.
Very well, then. If I agree to finance this venture, and I want to make it quite clear I'm doing it just as much for Sarah's sake as your own, I want a solemn undertaking, 2 solemn undertakings. First, that her ladyship will never know of our arrangement. And second, that neither you nor Sarah will ever reveal to a living soul anything you've seen or heard in this house to the detriment of the family's good name. I want to be sure there's no misunderstanding, Watkins. My wife's letters, my daughter's marriage, her child, Sarah, and my son, all are private family affairs.
Never a word to a living soul, sir. I hope I may take your hand on that.
Very well. I'll make out a check at once.
Would you make it out to pay bearer, sir?
Yes, Watkins.
What about her ladyship, sir?
I will inform her ladyship that you've changed your mind about working with somebody else, that you've come into a little windfall, and you're going to open a business on your own in a small way.
May I ask you, sir, why you've decided to do this?
Well, in a way, you're my responsibility. If you never learn anything else, Watkins, learn that. The minute you become a master, you take on responsibilities which you avoid at your peril. Yeah,
That's very generous of you, sir.
you take it. But remember, her ladyship must never know. Thank you for the beer.
It won't be a stylish marriage. I can't afford a carriage. But you look sweet upon the seat of a bicycle made for two. Very good, Dan. Very good. No, lovely.
Come on, Sarah, you're...
Hi, come on. What about you?
In her condition.
Now, this is a celebration, Mrs. Bridges.
Oh, look who's talking with a face like a wet wig.
Ah, come on, love. Up you
Go
get
on,
now.
all right then.
Ladies and gentlemen, your kind attention, please. Now then, by popular demand.
No expense spared.
And no expense spared, the return of the ever popular
The one and only
Miss Clemence Staley. Little round of applause. Now,
It's
here's
a
your
note,
note.
yeah.
All right. Now, here you are. Ah, right. Now then.
Oh, what are we going to do with Uncle Arthur? A blinking stallion is Uncle Arthur.
And he goes fast rolling in the park. Watch your step. Boys, especially after dark. Uncle Arthur.
Sir, my lady,
No, please go on with what you're doing. We only came down to wish the engaged couple well.
Yes, indeed.
Well, we won't stay a moment. Why don't you sit down, my dear?
Sit down, Mrs. Bridges.
Oh, thank you, lady.
Do go on with the song.
Well, Hodson, what about a little whiskey to liven things up?
But, sir,
Whiskey gin, surely.
Well, both. This is a special occasion.
Oh, well, I'll say yes, sir, and thank you very much. For mild ale is notorious for the heartburn.
Hodson, give Joan the keys, will you?
Here we go. You heard what the master said. Look sharp now. Off you go.
Please go on, Sarah.
Hodson?
All right, Sarah.
What are we going to do with Uncle Arthur? A blinking stallion is Uncle Arthur. When he goes strolling in the park, watch your step. Girls, especially after dark. And your skirts a flirt for Uncle Arthur.
Uncle Arthur.
Ruby, there, Dad. The master and her ladyship have come to join in the fun.
I've got to get these done.
Want a cup? How about a drop of this?
No.
Come on, yeah? Come on.
No, I can't. Well, not like this.
Well, oh, look. Sarah's doing her turn. It's a caution.
She's a caution, all right. Oh. Having a baby, getting married, coming into all that money.
Only one thing missing, eh? Father of her kid. Wouldn't half laugh if he walked in.
What do you mean?
Come on.
How can he walk in if he's already there?
What are you talking about?
Mr. Watkins is there.
No, Ruby, you got it all mixed up. She's marrying him, but it's nothing to do with the baby. It's just being good to her.
Look, I know.
Know what?
Well, I've known ever since he come up to her room one night and they had a row. I heard it.
Heard it?
Yes, she said what he'd done to her and she was going to have a baby. And he hit her, Mr. Watkins did. Never. Yes. And then she cried and they made it up. And he said not to worry and he'd sort something out.
But they all think. And Mr. Hudson thinks. And upstairs thinks. Oh, Ruby, what wickedness there is in this world. He's not decent at all. Not more decent than anyone. Not if it's his kid all along. Well, Ruby.
Should we tell?
No, it wouldn't do. You can only tell on people under you, not over you.
My wife
Won't let me.
Very, very nice. Thank you.
very much.
Thank you, Sarah, Watkins. Our best wishes and good luck with the motor car
Yes,
business.
promise both.
Oh, thank you, my
Thank
lady.
you very much.
Good
sir.
night, Sarah.
Good night to you.
Good night.
Good night, sir.
Thanks ever so much.
Good night, my lady.
Yes.
Good night, sir.
And thanks for the whiskey.
Here, let me have that bottle of whiskey.
Oh, give me a drop of that gin.
That's me.
I wish we had a piano.
Piano would be
I
nice.
do like a nice piano.
There we are.
What's up with you two then, eh? You look like seeing a ghost.
Oh.
Hey, how about another song then, Sarah?
Oh, no, we haven't got time for that now. We've got to clear up in here.
No, certainly not, Mr. Hudson. Pardon me. This is our family we're sending out into the world. And I'll have another drop of that gin while
Oh,
it's there.
you're a terrible girl, Mr. Bridges. At it again.
For goodness sake, give them two a drop of beer. They look like mourners at a funeral.
Here comes the bride.
Oh, fat and wide.
Mrs. Bridges.
See how she wobbles.
Mr. Hudson.
From side to side.
Oh, very good, yeah. Here comes the bride, all fat and white.
Well, that's that.
Yes, they'll be gone by the end of the week. Good riddance.
You know, it's absurd, but I think I'm going to miss that little Sarah in an odd sort of way. Anyway, they can do us no harm in Kilburn.
Oh, I don't suppose there's much social gossip around the garages of northwest London. Thank God for Watkins' little windfall.
From an aunt in Pontypool, he told me.
Did he?
£500 is an awful lot of money.
Yeah.
You shouldn't really have given it to that rascal. But I'm very glad you did.